I love that place. And I'm sitting there at 4 thinking, no more, I'm doing my workout, even before the plane took off. And the people are lining up, and I'm like, hey. And actually, before I tell you the salad story, I'll tell you another one. Same deal. Here I'm in first class, and of course, when I travel, I always dress to the nines. So if I'm going to be in first class, I want to look the part, right? So I was wearing my overcoat, and I had my nice 3-piece suit on, looking very businesslike, and I got the Wall Street Journal. I've taken to wearing a bowler. So I'm saying, yes, I'm Mr. Businessman. Notice how big a businessman I am. Yes, it's businessman. Wall Street Journal. And I glanced up, and there was a young fellow, 15, 16 years old, had a t-shirt with Derpy on it, said Derpy on it, really big. And I'm journal. I looked up saying, oh. Interesting shirt there, young man. He said, thanks. I said, yes. Robo. No, I'm not jabroni, but hell, if it made his day, why not? So on this particular flight to Seattle, I was already, happy. And, smirking at all the people going back to the cattle class. It's off with you, you lowly unwashed heathens. Now, you know how it backs up, because, people never just can get onto the plane. You always have the lady with the lawn tractor. She's trying to wrestle into the overhead bin up there. I looked up, and standing in the foyer, waiting for the line to move, was an American soldier in fatigues. Soldiers for many years have described something called the 1,000-yard stare. That is something that a soldier gets who has, shall we say, had a very bad day. The 1,000-yard stare. Once you've seen it, you'll remember it. He's looking, but he's not seeing, because he's somewhere else. And I looked up and I saw that expression. I'm old enough to remember the poor boys coming back from Vietnam with that look. I know that look. And I looked up and I immediately was stricken by just the expression. And I sat forward and I said, excuse me, soldier. And he kind of snapped to, he looked at me and he said, yes, sir. I said, where are you sitting? He said, 15E. 15E is one of those middle seats, that one. It's like you're in a coffin. You gotta sit like this the whole time when you eat your meal. I said, suppose I send a drink back your way. And he said, yes, sir. Perked up immediately. I'm like, okay, that's good. He's one of me. I like this guy. So he said he went back on his way. Plane boarded. They refilled me. Refilled me again. The plane climbed up, got to its cruising altitude, and the flight attendant came by to refill me once more. I said, miss, excuse me. Back 15E, there's a serviceman in fatigues. You can't miss him. Could you go back and tell him I want to change seats with him? And she was a little startled. She said, are you sure? I'm damn sure. Go get him. Go get him. Don't wait. So she went back, and a few moments later, the soldier came up. He was kind of clutching his rucksack, looking a little confused as to what was going on. I stood up and said, there you are. Have a seat. He said, sir. I said, no, okay. First off, quit babbling at me. Second off, they put me in this seat because I fly a lot. That's what... But before I do, I'm going to share with you a small incident that happened. It's a wonderful story to share. I didn't get to the story of my psycho stalker, but if you buy me a drink sometime, I'll tell you that one at the bar. Not very long ago, I was approached by some members of the press team at the New York Times. They wanted to do a story on furries. I get this a lot. I'm very, very frequently approached by members of the media. They want to talk about furries, and I'm an old hand at this. I know how it goes. I said, okay, looked up their background. They hadn't done anything overly nasty in the last 10 years, so I said, okay, I'll talk with you. They said, we want to come and have lunch with you and talk about it over lunch. I said, are you paying the bar tab? They said, yeah. I said, good. You better bring that credit card. And I talked with him for about 45 minutes over some rather mediocre Thai food in a restaurant that I probably shouldn't have picked. We talked about furries and what we do and this and that and versions and cartoons. You've all heard the stick. You've seen me on YouTube. You've seen me do my blathering up here. I don't need to go through it again. And at the end of the meal, we stood up. I had noticed that at the next table over, there was a young lady, early 20s. I could tell she was paying attention to what we were talking about. And I was wondering, I wonder if she's reading that. As we stood up to leave, she stood up too and she said, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. I said, okay, here it comes. What is this going to be? And she said, I couldn't help overhearing what you were talking about. I just wanted to mention, last June in Pittsburgh, I was in University of Pittsburgh Hospital being operated on for breast cancer. And I was completely terrified out of my wits, but I just kept seeing you guys on TV having so much fun, and it made me feel so much better. I just wanted to thank you. Oh. I turned to the guys and I said, that's all you need to know. And that really, in the end, is what we're all about. We are one of the few fandoms that not only revels in our world, but wants to share it with everyone else. We take our dream out and we give it to other people. Not many other fandoms do that. I brought this to the attention of a reporter in Pittsburgh who asked me, she said, why do you do this? That's always the eternal question. What's the thrill? Why do you do this? What's in it for you? And just then, there was a fursuiter on his way up Liberty, probably heading to Fernando's or something, and they said, you see that guy there, that big raccoon? Watch him. Okay. He's going to go around the corner, and there it is. Okay, lady coming out from her office. She's on her way to lunch. Did you see what just happened? She came out, she had her head down, she stared at the sidewalk, she bumped into this guy, did a big double take, broke into laughter, got a big smile on her face, pulled out her cell phone, grabbed a passerby, wanted her picture taken. She's probably been having a really shitty day, lousiest day you can imagine. Her boss yelled at her, she's really in a bad mood. She came out of that door, and for just a few short seconds, just by running into this guy, for that few precious few seconds, she felt better. She was happy. She forgot what was troubling her, and she felt good. That's what we're all about, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some of you have been sitting out there for about, 2 hours plus. If it's all right with everyone, and all right with my kind colleague, I'm going to give you exactly 3 minutes to get up, go outside, take a pee break, please use the restroom. Go to the bar if you need, but when you return, there is going to be the finest comic furry fandom has ever known, to the Rancher Griffin on the stage. I thank you on behalf of me. Do not forget, you got to see this guy in 3 minutes.